Welcome back, everybody. So my next movie review for you is The Mummy, the 1999 version of The Mummy. So it was released on the 25th of June 1999. Its director was Stephen Sommers. It was made on a budget of 80 million US dollars and made a whopping 415.9 million US dollars. The cast in this movie is reasonably impressive as well, consisting of Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, John Hannah, Arnold Vosloo. I think that's how you say his name, but I know him as Imhotep. It's as simple as that. Jonathan Hyde and Kevin J. O'Connor, plus many, many others. So in this movie, we get to follow two main characters in this movie in the form of Rick O'Connell and Evie. Rick O'Connell's like this ex-military kind of guy who's in Egypt just trying to get by or getting himself into certain bits of trouble and going off gallivanting in certain ways. Then we have Evie, who is a librarian in Egypt as well, who's very, very knowledgeable about hieroglyphics, pharaohs, ancient Egypt, basically, in general. These two characters set off on a mission to go on this dig to go and find an ancient city or lost city called Hamunaptra. While they're there, they accidentally wake a mummy in the form of Imhotep, played by Imhotep, something along those lines, played by Arnold Vosloo. And basically this movie becomes this very, very entertaining action adventure movie. And I have to be honest with you, it is an entertaining movie. I do generally like this movie quite a fair bit. Which I'm going to get into reasons into very, very shortly. Now I know this movie is loosely based on the 1932 novel or film, I think it's novel, to do with the mummy, but it's only loosely based. This is more of a version which is being put into like the more of the modern times. Back in 1999, we have had a remake since then, which is a review for another day. And the reason why I've watched it today. I've watched both versions. I watched the 1999 Mummy and I watched 2017 Mummy. Now I want to do the 2017 Mummy review tomorrow because there is a couple of things in there which I'd like to talk about and wonder if anybody else has picked up on. But obviously this review is focused around this one. And honestly, yes, for me, it is an entertaining movie and it's very, very enjoyable. And it's still enjoyable now, 21 years after it got released. 21 years. Or 20 years. 21 years. It got released the year I left school, basically. I thought it was more like late 2000s, and it was a big shock when I found out it was 1999. But there you go. So, things in this movie I generally like. Start of this movie, you get a big backstory to Imhotep. You get to know why he was mummified, you get the reasons why he was mummified, and you get that backstory. So you're already getting character development already within the first 3 or 4 minutes, first minute pretty much, of this movie. And this is the luxury about this movie. It is a movie of two halves. For the first hour, it's almost like they set out just to go, right, we're going to set out this first hour to focus on character development, to get that emotional attachment to the two main characters, which you do very, very quickly. I very, very much enjoy all the characters in this movie, but you do get that sense and you do get that emotional attachment to these two main characters extremely quickly. You have Brendan Fraser's character as in Rick O'Connell. He's a bit boisterous, over the board, and all that kind of stuff, but he is still, you know, that he can fight in a situation. Then you have Evie, who is a librarian, very, very British, never just trying to succeed the best she can and just keep somehow failing and trying to move through life the best she possibly can. Again, like you said, you get very good character development in the first hour. You get the build up to what is coming, which, to be honest with you, is pretty predictable in this movie. When you've got a movie named The Mummy, you know that this mummy is going to come back at some point. It's just a case on how they're going to bring it back, and it's the build up to bringing them back. And I generally love that first hour. You get introduced to everybody in this movie, and it explains a lot. It explains people at their backgrounds and why they're there. You got Rick's background, you got Evie's background, even John Hannah's character in here. Jonathan. There you go. I only watched it this morning. You get his background. He's a bit of a, chancer in life. He wants to be rich and will steal and just try and cash in. You get all this. You get all these elements in there, which is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, you get the build up. They go in, and it just that first hour is that sense of adventure, which I generally really really love. And like I said, it's a movie of two halves. The first half is literally the build up to this character development, setting up the story, getting that emotional attachment to the characters. Second half is the awakening of Imhotep, which is inevitably happening and it's building up to for the first hour. Second half of this is literally all about trying to stop him, all about him regenerating, about him getting stronger, the plagues, everything that comes with waking him up, what his plan is, everything. And I generally really like it. Like I said, movie two halves. Just really enjoyed it. Absolutely fantastic. And Imhotep as no, sorry, Arnold Vosloo as Imhotep, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. For a villain, he is so cool and calm and collective in this, and generally quite scary because he is that unpredictable kind of villain. He's not he is ruthless, but he's got this very calm kind of persona to him, which just makes him very, very enjoyable to watch. And he's got almost this smug kind of attitude. He's like, okay, I know I've been cursed, and I know at some point I'll come back, and this is what I'm going to do. This is what I can do. And there's always that little wry smile on his face, knowing that he is 100% in control. And as a generally, that's what I love about villain. And this one, being especially, he's got that sense that he's in control. Performances in general in this movie, I generally love. I really, really do. Brendan Fraser's character in here, he's not my favourite actor in the world, but in here, I actually enjoyed him. He's a very strong fighter. Okay, there's a sub love story going on in here, but you generally I do like his character. He is a bit boisterous at the beginning of this movie, but he grows on you very, very quickly. This is exactly the same as Rachel Weisz's character, Evie, in this as well. She's very lovable. You get very quick emotional attachment to this character. Performances by both of them are absolutely fantastic. Most of the performances in this movie is absolutely fantastic. The way that it's shot is absolutely fantastic. It has got that sense of adventure to this action adventure movie, and it's an enjoy. I am never bored. There's not a moment in this movie where you're actually bored. And even if there is slower moments, very, very quickly it develops into either an action sequence or something happening, either to do with Imhotep or there's always something happening. There's never really a long period of a slow moment in this movie, which just makes it even more entertaining. And for me, if there's something constantly going on or prolonged, long, slower parts, that's when I start to become bored, and I do not get bored in this movie. I said I just generally like the way this is shot. It's majority shot in Egypt. I love the colouring. It's going to be sandy and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I do notice is the special effects in here. Now I remember when this movie came out, and I was just like that. Whoa, they're pretty cool special effects. Now watching a movie these days, and comparing them to the special effects there, you can see they are slightly dated. I am not going to lie to you. But I remember first watching it, and I actually generally enjoyed it. I was just like in the wow factor at that point. I admit there's a 20-year difference between special effects then to special effects now, but there is a noticeable difference. But for me, it doesn't really affect the movie in any way, shape, or form. It's just a fun, entertaining. I wouldn't say fun. It's just a really, really entertaining movie, and you get that sense of adventure from this movie. There's never a slow moment in this. There's always something going on. It's not too overpowering either. There's not all these complicated subplot lines going on here. They set it out from the beginning of the movie, and it's just an enjoyable watch. It's as simple as that. I highly recommend this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, please watch it. It's just absolutely fantastic. And then come back and tell me what you think. If you have seen this movie, please tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below. If I was to rate this movie, I thought IMDb rated this as a 7. For me, this is a very strong 9 out of 10. It has to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because I generally 100% find this movie extremely entertaining. The storyline is not hard. They set this out pretty much from the start. From the title of this movie, it is called The Mummy. So you know at some point the mummy is going to come back. The storyline is there set out for you. And the rest of this movie is just watch what they're doing, watch the entertainment, watch the adventure, see what's going to happen, see how they're going to stop the mummy, and just enjoy the 2 hours 4 minutes. I think this movie is. It's just a very entertaining watch for me. So, on that note, please tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below as normal. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care and goodbye.